With that victory, the Raiders took command of the AFC West, while the Broncos now find themselves clearly on the ropes. They must win their last 2 games and hope that one of 4 other teams loses 2 straight. It's turned into a perfect December day in the Mile High City. Temperature in the 40s, clear and sunny. A great day for football. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at Mile High Stadium. That loss last Sunday to Los Angeles had a devastating emotional impact on this Denver team. So much so, Trump, that Dan Reeves called a special meeting.
Don, several times this season we've talked that coaches must be teachers, they must be counselors, and sometimes you got to take your team to the woodshed. After 2 bad practices beginning of this week, Dan Reeves on Thursday, before practice, had enough. Said, gentlemen, we do have a chance.
Well, I got some help today with the Bears beating the Jets 19-6. We had a chance to talk to Dan Reeves about that Thursday meeting.
Well, it was a tough loss that we had against the Raiders, and you worry about your team emotion. I just felt like it would be terrible if we'd sit in front of the television on Sunday afternoon and 3 of the teams that we were looking at, would lose the football game and we'd lose to the Chiefs, how bad we'd feel. So I just thought it was important for us to realize we did have hope.
As you know, John Mackovic and his Kansas City Chiefs are out of the playoffs, but there's nothing they'd like better than to knock the Denver Broncos out, too. It's important for Mackovic.
Yeah, no question about it. There are some people who feel that unless John Mackovic wins this game, this may be his last season as a head coach for the Kansas City Chiefs, joining some of those coaches we saw in the pregame show. But, Don, for the team, the players, there's basically no pressure. Just go out and have fun today against the Denver Broncos.
Could be some for Coach Mackovic. Lamar Hunt, the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, says he'll review the whole situation after the season. Chiefs, as you see, lead the series, but they've not done well in the recent years, particularly here at Mile High Stadium. The Broncos have won 8 of the last 10 against Kansas City at Mile High. Rich Carlos, a young man not without his own troubles because of missed field goals this season, ready to kick it off now for the Broncos, a team that's played before sellout crowds here at Mile High Stadium for 17 years. Back deep for Kansas City. George Shorthose, a sprinter from Missouri. He's cautioned not to bring it out. And so Todd Blackledge and the Kansas City offense come out. Offensive line has been beaten up a lot this year. One of the best players, Brad Buddy, still out at left guard. Bob Rush, the veteran center, playing with a bad back, but they played well last week in routing Atlanta. Wide receivers, very effective. Stephon Page and Carlos Carson. Walt Arnold's at tight end who can go deep. He's got a lot of speed. Blackledge at quarterback. Mike Pruitt, the former Cleveland Brown, who rushed for over 100 yards last week. In the backfield with Herman Hurd. Blackledge has started the last 3 games. Kansas City in this 5-9 season won 2 of them. 1st and 10. Going into coverage, but he gets Walt Arnold, and the tight end moves ahead to the 30-yard line for a 1st down. So Blackledge, Trump gambles a bit, but he hits the man. And right now, Walt Arnold ahead for a 1st down for KC. Defensively across the front, Rulon Jones, Reuben Carter, and Bobby Chavis. Big Barney. Defensive left end for the Broncos. Jackson, Busick, Mecklenburg, who could be a Pro Bowl player this year, and Ryan back the line. Veteran secondary, played very well. Foley and Smith, a couple of very strong safeties. Louis Wright, 4 times a Pro Bowler at left corner. 1st down, Kansas City. And Hurd loses Louis Wright, and Herman Hurd, second play from scrimmage, gets ahead for 9. So the Chiefs, 2 plays and 29 yards.
Don,
19 yards.
We certainly documented before the ball game Dan Reeves' concern about his football team. The most consistent part of this team has been the Denver Broncos defense throughout the season. And when you play with pressure on your shoulders like the Broncos play today, it's like playing in mud, like swimming upstream. Takes a few downs for you to get into the emotion of the game. Kansas City's taking advantage of it, no question about that.
Herman Hurd, a native of Denver, Colorado, back home playing for Kansas City. It's going to be 2nd down, and as you see, about 1. Pruitt gets hard and close to a second 1st down for Kansas City on this opening drive. These 2 teams played October 27th, and the Broncos won handily at Arrowhead 30-10.
One of the problems the Kansas City Chiefs offense faces is that last week against the Raiders, Chiefs coaches told me that 72 different positions that defensive line lined up. That time Carl Mecklenburg, 77, that combination linebacker defensive lineman there to make the initial hit on Mike Pruitt.
Mecklenburg having a tremendous year. 12 sacks. He scores 5 fumbles. His next sack will give him a team record. Right now, though, Kansas City is moving the ball very smartly early in this opening drive. No score. 13:20 to play in the first quarter. Blackledge going deep. Stephon Page, who caught 2 for touchdowns last week. Can't bring it in, and so it goes as a long out. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Chiefs.
We expected to see Henry Marshall back from that bad shoulder to start, but Stephon Page with outstanding speed. And you know, if there's been a surprise in this Denver Bronco defensive backfield, Harden has done an outstanding job throughout this season for Denver. Just kind of forced him to the sideline, used the sideline as best he possibly can. And that's the defensive back's biggest friend out there, that sideline.
Got Stephon Page on the last one, but they'll be going back to him. With tight end, and he's good and quick. Gets ahead out to the 44-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 6.
One of the values of a guy like Carl Mecklenburg, as big as he is, he can get in there with offensive linemen and still get the pass rush. And as a linebacker, he's covering the tight end. He'll drop off just a little bit. And he fakes the blitz. Now watch the quickness he gets off that blocker. That's great speed for a guy his size. That's why he's so versatile. There's so many things he can do. He can play any spot there, but probably weak safety.
Draft day bargain, too. He came in the 12th round from Minnesota. The Terminator, the Raiders kept him out of play for the most part. Had no sacks last week against Los Angeles. On 3rd down and a long 6. Sack right there. Coming on the blitz was Ken Woodard, an outside linebacker. Coming on a stunt. The leading tackler for the Broncos makes a big play on defense, an 8-yard loss.
That's a delayed blitz, too. The running backs are taught to look at the linebacker, and if he doesn't show blitz right away, then release. And you can see the running back helps inside. Woodard comes untouched for the first sack of the ball game.
So Todd Blackledge goes out, and the punter is on the field. Jim Arnold. The Broncos blocked 2 of his in the first meeting. Only 2 he's ever had blocked as a pro. Super fast return man signals for the fair catch, Vance Johnson. And so the Broncos offense comes out for the first time. A 43-yard punt, as you see, no return. 2 longtime rivals dating back to 1960 in the old American Football League. John Elway now ready to start the Broncos on offense. The Denver team picked up by the news from New Jersey that the Chicago Bears are upping their season at 14-1, beating the Jets, and that's one of the 4 teams. The Broncos hope will lose at least 2 games. One of the 4 has to lose 2, and the Broncos have to win 2 to get in. Walter Payton was shut down today, but the Bears weren't from.
28 carries, 53 yards. His 100 yard per game streak ends at 9. Marcus Allen right on his heels, though, with 7.
Marcus will be in action tomorrow on NBC Sports against Seattle at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Watson to the left. Vance Johnson right. Elway going to put it up. He's got time. Home run ball. Vance Johnson, the fastest Bronco in history, has it tipped away at the last moment. Albert Lewis, a cornerback from Grambling who intercepted 3 passes a week ago against Atlanta, just broke it up. Veteran offensive line of the Denver Broncos. Very good trap blocking line for the run plays. Kay and Wright, hard blocking tight ends. Watson, a sure-handed receiver, and Vance Johnson, a burner. Winder, the lone setback for the most part for Denver. Bronco running core has been depleted. Gene Lang is out. Winder sets up way behind Elway to see. Sammy Winder on 2nd and 10. Duron Cherry, the free safety, number 20, came up to make the play for Kansas City. Bill Moss, having a terrific year, started at nose tackle, but because of injuries and other problems has moved to defensive end. Holly's the middle guard. Lindstrom starts at right end. Daniels, Radisick, Blanton, and Jolly, journeyman linebackers. Some very good safety men for Kansas City. Ross is a standout corner, so is Albert Lewis. Duron Cherry's been to the Pro Bowl. Lloyd Burris, a hard-hitting safety for KC. Now 3rd down and about 6. No score. It's the first quarter. Elway letting it fly long, and there's no flag. Although Vance Johnson would like to see one. Kevin Ross Second-year man from Temple, and went down to the ground, as did the man, the intended receiver, Vance Johnson, but it's a clean call.
Probably the biggest change in the NFL. Officials allow this contact if both are looking back. On a comment here, that loss last week to the Los Angeles Raiders not only affected the team, but this is as quiet as I have ever heard Mile High Stadium.
Yeah, this is a rocking place usually, but today jury's out apparently on how they feel about the Broncos' chances of getting in, but it can get in a hurry. Deep man is Garcia Lane now for Kansas City. Out to punt the ball is Chris Norman for Denver. 11:42 to play in the first quarter. Neither team able to move with any consistency first possession. Kansas City will get good field position here. Garcia Lane goes down at his 40, and that's where KC goes on offense again. Daniel Hunter was down on the play. 37-yard punt, and we'll be back right after.
In Mile High Stadium, the 117th straight sellout. By those numbers, these people are used to seeing the Denver Broncos win. But last week, the loss was so sudden. The fumble, the Raiders come in the first play. They snap it, kick the field goal, game over, and possibly season over.
Particularly devastating because the Broncos had the game in hand in the first half. Led 14-0 at halftime. And should have led by more than that. The Raiders, as is their history, came back to win the game they had to win. Now here's Herman Hurd coming wide, and he's out to the 43-yard line. Steve Busick, inside backer, came in and makes the stick for the Denver Broncos. Herman Hurd at 5'10", 186. Has rushed for almost 500 yards. He's the Chiefs' #1 rusher. It's been a problem for Kansas City. They had their first 100-yard game from running back last week. For the first time since '81.
Yeah, 54 games. Mike Pruitt went over the 100-yard mark. 16 carries, 102 yards. That's a problem, too, for any team. If you can't give your quarterback time by that threat of the run, you get hurt.
Said afterwards, we're 1-0 in the last 5 years now. The Yankees had 100-yard rush. Here is a play fake, and Blackledge looking deep. Going down to Carlos Carson. He's got a first down as he's out of bounds at the 35-yard line of Denver. Carson has had some injury problems, had a brilliant start this year. A 22-yard gain, his 41st catch of the year.
You have to respect his speed. Blackledge did an excellent job, even with the pressure. You see that the Denver Broncos like the lineup, Mecklenburg and Rulon Jones on the same side, so that there's no double teaming on it. And Blackledge at 6'5", almost 225 pounds, told me before the game he's gained 10 pounds from last season. I said, why? He said, I don't know, I just feel more comfortable. I feel stronger.
He is big. 6'4", 225 pounds. He was the second quarterback drafted in that draft of '83. He came after Elway. Two running backs in between, Dickerson and Kurt Warner. Here's Pruitt breaking inside the 30. The big back came in here and impressed everybody. He'd been cut by Cleveland, picked up by Buffalo, waived by the Bills. And all he wants to do is go to work, get the ball and run. As you see, he's 13th on the all-time list. And big Mike Pruitt, his 10th year from Purdue, got 9 on that carry.
Nice little delay run by the Kansas City Chiefs. Now Denver Broncos are struggling. They're just trying to get their mind into the football game. Everyone on the sideline is standing. Players are coming in late from the bench. They haven't had that big play yet.
Last 3 starts from Todd Blackledge has directed Kansas City to a score on the opening drive. This is the second possession of the Chiefs, and they're moving this time. Herman Hurd off the right side. He's down to about the 23-yard line. Nick Lowry, one of the great field goal kickers ever. I think he is the all-time leader, isn't he, in percentage? And he's having another tremendous year. Warming up.
This kid's accuracy is unbelievable. Bill Kinney on the sideline. He physically cannot play. Got a bad back and a bad elbow from northern Colorado. Incidentally, 333rd player taken in a 334-player draft in 1978 by the Miami Dolphins. He goes to the Pro Bowl in 1983. So those computers aren't all that smart.
We were with Bill Kinney. Took him a while to get here, though. Spent time with Washington also. Now it's going to be first down and 10 for Kansas City. Scoreless first quarter. Blackledge swings it out. Hurd is hit. Breaks the tackle. Got away from the pin line and gets down inside the 20. Well, Herman Hurd's not big, but he shows some power. And Jim Ryan hears from the crowd. It turned into a 7-yard gain.
Several ways you can judge whether or not the team's mind is in the football game. Now, Jim Ryan, normally a very, very short tackler, had Herman Hurd dead to rights. Watch, his back is to the linebacker, and Ryan still can't get a full hold on him. That's good effort by Herman Hurd and very poor tackling by Jim Ryan.
We have 8:42 to play in the first quarter. There's no score. The Chiefs driving. gets some as he's down to the 15-yard line. This is a sure shot from in here if the drive stalls for Nick Lowry. The confidence level is building for Todd Blackledge Trump. His quarterback coach, Pete McCulley, told him when he first got the starting job 4 games ago, he said, quarterbacks are like tea bags. You don't find out how strong they are until you get them in hot water.
Tell you another thing about Todd Blackledge. He is a streak thrower. Last week he completed his first 7. And when things start going his way, that confidence for a young guy just builds and builds and builds. And all of a sudden he's a tough quarterback for any team to handle.
But all the adversity of being a starter, then being pulled and being on the bench has helped him now because he's much more confident and thinks he can do it. As Pruitt goes, short yardage play, and he's going to be very close to the first down.
And I'll tell you another factor with Todd Blackledge. Not only does he get a chance to play these games, but the most important point is starting quarterbacks in the NFL take about 90% of the work during the week. So when they assigned him the starting position, he got 90% of the work during the week.
Watching him at practice yesterday, he looked very sharp. They ran a lot of rollouts. He's a very mobile quarterback. Big and strong, played for Joe Paterno with Penn State. Going to go down to that Orange Bowl game when the Nittany Lions go for the national championship, a game you'll see here on NBC Sports. Going against that powerhouse team from Oklahoma the night of January 1st, 1986. Now Nick Lowry comes out. He's tried 24 field goals this season. He's hit 21.
Tell you what, this kid has never missed in his career inside 30 yards either. That's not a bad streak, huh? So this is a 32-yarder. This is a gimme putt.
He's made his last 8 in competition. Nick Lowry with 8 different teams out of Dartmouth before he finally stuck in as a Pro Bowl kicker. Different kickers aim at different places. Tell me before the game he aims way up on the scoreboard. He wants to put it up high and through the middle. And getting it up, he said, is the key. You get it up, it's going to go long. This one doesn't have to. Gets it up, and Nick Lowry's right on time again with 7:21 to play. The underdog Kansas City Chiefs put the first points up. They take a 3-0 lead on with Bob Crumpy. This is Don Trickey back at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. 7:21 to play in the first quarter. The Chiefs just hit a 32-yard field goal. Nick Lowry got his first points of the day, and it's 3-0 Kansas City. Lowry hits a very high kickoff. Vance Johnson, the sprinter from Arizona, takes it across the 20. Johnson is out to the 32-yard line. At halftime today, when we go to NFL 85, Bob Costas and the crew will be visiting, among others, with Mike Singletary, all-pro middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears, who, if you haven't heard, beat the Jets today 19-6. Bears extending their record to 14-1, the best in football. Jets now on the ropes. They have to win next week against Cleveland.
To this point, John Elway now 0 of 2. One, of course, was a very deep pass. The Denver Broncos right now got to go to the run. They got to establish something at the line of scrimmage to get the lethargy out.
John Elway, as you see, stacks his 2 wide receivers, now brings Watson in motion. Play fake into Winder, quick out. They go to the speed. And the Broncos get ahead for a gain on the throw to Vance Johnson out to the 37-yard line. Gain of 5. Dan Reeves in his 5th year, his Broncos have won 75% of the time at Mile High Stadium. As you see, the winningest Bronco coach in history.
I think he knows what to do also. He knows how to handle John Elway, knows how to handle adversity. He's going to be here for a long time, and this team's going to win a lot of games.
That's a good point. He can handle the winning and the losing. Learned under a master, Tom Landry. End off goes to Winder, and he breaks it up the middle. He's across midfield. A big gain for the Denver Broncos. A gain of 15 yards by Sammy Winder. The Bronco offense gets on track.
Teron Cherry on the tackle. This is a nice little pop-up through the middle. And this is what the Denver Broncos need. It's a trap, and they execute it perfectly. And Winder, who had arthroscopic surgery, 2 weeks ago, didn't miss a game because of it. If there's one thing the Denver Broncos have needed this season, it's a Sammy Winder running for 1,000 yards. Take the pressure off the passing game. Unfortunately, they haven't gotten it.
Sammy can catch it, too. Comes in with 31 catches. Winder. First down carry. He takes it to the Kansas City 43-yard line. Got 4 on the play. John Makovic, the Kansas City coach, followed Dan Reeves as offensive coordinator, head of the passing game at Dallas. When Reeves came to Denver, Makovic went to Dallas from Wake Forest, where he was head coach. Now in his 3rd season. .5:23 to play. First quarter, and Kansas City's in the lead 3-0. Back to Winder and almost breaks it. Peach come hitting, but Sammy breaks 1 and then 2 and finally gets down close to the 35-yard line. A gain of 8 and a first down for Denver.
Once again, Deron Cherry on the tackle. That means that your linebackers and your linemen are, defensive linemen are not doing the job. You turn a running back loose on a safety. This is exactly what the Denver Broncos needed now. Establish some control of the line of scrimmage with some good running plays. Winder now 4 carries, 32 yards.
Sammy's run the ball. Sammy Winder 4 times, 32 as you mentioned. And Sewell now, the rookie number 1 from Oklahoma, takes it inside the 30 down to the 29-yard line. 7-yard gain for Sewell as the trap blocking up front of Denver offensive line specialist brings Sewell for 7.
Doing an excellent job. Notice the Denver Broncos are also using in their offensive lineup Mark Cooper, a guard, a young man who is out of Miami of Florida, 6'6", 200, and close to 75 pounds. Excellent puller.
Kansas City defense had 7 sacks against Atlanta. Albert Lewis at corner had 3 interceptions. They really shut down Atlanta's offense. As Elway now on 2nd and 4. Throws a strike. Vance Johnson down to the 18-yard line. Ron Cherry gets him, but it's an 11-yard pickup. Vance Johnson, a spectacular athlete from Arizona. The running back there, the fastest Bronco ever, as we mentioned. He was the NCAA long jump champion 1 year. 26 feet 11.5 inches.
Does a great job of just finding the dead spot in that zone. Radisek on the inside, Cherry on the outside. And John Elway with a good play action fake held those linebackers. That's a nice reception by Vance Johnson.
McGrath starts to pick up here at Mile High Stadium. Broncos trailing Kansas City 3-0. Winder takes it down to the 15-yard line. The left guard Keith Bishop. Another fine trap block, and there's a gain of 4.
Broncos still, though, swimming upstream here. They're trying to get something going. It's hard to erase a loss like last week, no matter what your coach tells you, and no matter what you read in the press and how you feel and whether or not you had a great game. It's really hard to get that loss out of your mind.
So much has to happen right for Denver to get in the playoffs. They have to win. Most importantly, that's foremost. And here's Winder, and he's working on that get-ahead score as he's down to the 10-yard line. 2nd down carry is going to bring up 3rd and short. On the tackle was Deron Cherry, a gain of 5 for Sammy Winder.
Once again, safeties for the Kansas City Chiefs making the tackles, and Deron Cherry still on the ground. That's one thing that double tight end offense allows the Denver Broncos. From the alignment, you have no idea which way the Denver Broncos are going, run or pass. So you can't really set a strong safety or a weak safety to stop them.
Last week, Trump, in Kansas City's 38-10 win over Atlanta, they held the Falcons to just 93 yards rushing. Sammy Winder already has 40 yards running today in the first quarter for Denver. Kansas City's in the lead 3-0. Elway on short yardage. He's going to be close, but did he get there? Had to get it down to the 9-yard line.
Very close, and the Denver fans not particularly happy with that call.
In addition to leading all the quarterbacks in rushing, he has an excellent per carry average, 5.5. John Elway might be at his best when he's scrambling.
A lot of people feel that if you can keep John Elway in the pocket, that's where, if he has a weakness, it shows. On the roll, though, as you say, he is absolutely deadly. Ooh, tough choice here for Dan Reeves. Do you go for it, or do you go for the field goal?
4th down comes up for the Denver Broncos. They trail by 3. Harless has had his problems, as you know, the field goal kicker for Denver. Offense is staying out. They're going to pound the ball at him.
Now, I think this could go a long way towards, one, getting the crowd into the ball game, two, taking some of the pressure off the Denver offense or the Denver team. Look, John Elway is exhorting the crowd. Come on, cheer a little bit. Give us a little bit of credit here.
So the Broncos are going to go for it. Everybody loves a gambler till he loses. We'll see if all those grandstand quarterbacks back the Broncos, but they don't get there. I formation, power set, 3 tight ends in. Second back is full, and he's ahead for a Denver first down. Gets down to the 7. So the Broncos drive on.
First cheer of the day for the Denver Broncos. Their fans, yeah, they like the choice now. They don't want to make the choice, but they like the choice. From behind the defense, good power blocking. Offensive linemen get leverage, get underneath those defensive linemen. Good lead block by Winder. On Blanton, you see Blanton driving over there. A hand on the face mask, no call. Denver Broncos first down.
Ball down to the 7-yard line where it's first and goal Denver. Here's Winder on the run with the Broncos trailing 3-0. Coming across to make the play was Bill Maas, the left end, who had a standout season at nose tackle, moved to left end when Art Still went down. The other defensive end also out, Mike Bell. Maas playing great wherever they put him. A loss of 2 on that play. He's Dan Marino's brother-in-law.
Watch the pursuit by the inside of the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Moss does an excellent job of getting off the block. Gets Winder down for a loss of 2 yards. A lot of teams, when they get down in this situation, in my estimation, outsmart themselves. They continually run to the side as opposed to going right at them. And this first quarter is about to come to an end with the Denver Broncos second and goal.
Second and goal, but through the first 15 minutes, the underdog Chiefs have taken a 3-0 lead. Denver will try to punch it in when we come back. Underdog Chiefs have a 3-0 lead, but the Broncos seem to have some spark now, Mr. Trumpy.
Yeah, I think that 4th down conversion helped a little bit. As strange as this sounds, Don, I think Dan Reeves would like to have accelerators on all his players, that right now he could just push to the floor. Unfortunately, they don't have that. There's no turbo boost on these players, so they got to fight through this first part of the football game. They've suffered with this all week long, pretty even in the first quarter stats. This is without question the best drive for the Denver Broncos, but second down and quite a bit for a touchdown here.
John Elway, whose quarterback victories in 21 of his last 28 starts, only Marino's better than that, throws in the flat. James Wright at tight end takes it down to the 4-yard line. That brings up 3rd and goal from the 4. A 5-yard pickup on the play as the Chiefs get tough on defense down close.
Chiefs doing an excellent job of clogging up the middle so that there's no place for Elway to throw the ball. And the other thing they're doing is, in that particular instance, they kept their pass rush lane. So John Elway could not roll out, which certainly adds to the offense of the Denver Broncos.
Big Jim Wright. He's the blast blocker, as is Clarence Kay. That's their strong suit, although they've caught more balls this year.
Denver now with 4 wide receivers, Don.
Elway, as you see in the shotgun on 3rd and goal from the 4. Fastball broken up in the end zone. Is it picked off?
Yes.
It is.
Greg Hill.
All right, says Coach Makovic. They were going to Steve Watson, and Greg Hill got it. 4th-year player from Oklahoma State.
From the triple side of the formation, Watson just runs a little slant. Hill does an excellent job of getting underneath Watson. Cleanly catches it. Drive stalled. Denver still trying to break out of the lethargy. And John Makovic, to say the least, very, very happy.
Talk about an emotional damper. That's one. Down close and no points. 13th play in the drive. Unlucky for quarterback John Elway as he's picked off by Greg Hill. And Kansas City coming out to their 20 now to go 1st and 10. The Chiefs are in the lead 3-0. Chicago Bears beat the Jets today 19-6. Blackledge, home run. Stephon Page, open ball tipped away by All-Pro Louis Wright. Mr. Wright. Louis, they chant at Mile High as with 14:41 to play in the first half. Very nearly a big hit for the Chiefs on offense.
Historically, that's the way Louis Wright's played the position. He'll stay right with that receiver, and at the last minute get his hands in there, and that's what he does. Very sure-handed, very athletic. Kansas City Chiefs that time had a little half roll to avoid some of the pass rush, rolling away from Rulon Jones and Carl Mecklenburg, rolling to the right for Blackledge.
very nearly his 6th interception, Louis Rice. Now 2nd down and 10 for the young quarterback of the Chiefs, Todd Blackledge. Herman Hurd. Pruitt gives him a big block. Hurd gets out to the 27-yard line. Big Mike Pruitt at 225 just blew away a linebacker, and that gave Herman Hurd the room to run for 7.
That time, the Denver Broncos gave another defensive look. They had the near side defensive end, Rulon Jones outside. They had Busick inside. And that's the way the Kansas City Chiefs ran. Every down that the Kansas City Chiefs go to the line of scrimmage, they will look at a different defensive front from Kansas City. So far, they've solved those defensive fronts.
Talked about they ran 72 different defensive looks at the Raiders.
Yes.
Big boys from L.A. handled it in the end once again as they took command of the AFC West. Big game tomorrow on NBC Sports. Raiders in Seattle. Here's a clean throw over the middle, and Carlos Carson is on the run. And Carson's all the way across midfield to the 48-yard line of Denver. Sprinter from LSU, a 26-yard reception, breaking right into the middle of the zone, wide open.
Don, that was the same play, the same formation that the Denver Broncos ran that was intercepted. They had triple receivers on the far side of the field. Watch, Carson just comes underneath. Louis Wright's the man in single coverage. And linebackers, the Denver Broncos came with a blitz, no coverage underneath, and he was wide open.
Bronco linebackers oftentimes are smaller than usual, but they're very quick and aggressive. That's the way defensive coordinator Joel Collier likes them. And now, first down, Pruitt gets the call. Mike Pruitt, proving to people he still has some playing days left, takes it down to the 47-yard line. Greg Cragen came up to make the stop for Denver. Game clock down to 13:30 to run in the first half.
And the Kansas City Chiefs, to this point, with 13:30 to go in the first half, have not allowed the Denver Bronco fans in the game at all. I mean, one little cheer for the 4th down conversion has been it. They sit in stunned silence.
Kansas City, in the midst of a 5-9 season that includes 7 straight losses, winners of 2 of their last 3 and looking sharp today with a 3-0 lead. Hurd running hard, a motivated team. There was question how hard they'd come out, but the Chiefs playing hard. Now they move it on a 2nd and 9 play down to the 44-yard line.
Carl Mecklenburg on the tackle. Herman Hurd almost fumbled that ball. Didn't get it cleanly from Todd Blackledge. He makes the pickup.
John Makovic's Chiefs got off to a great start in '85, blew out New Orleans in New Orleans. 5 days later, routed the Raiders 36-20. Lost at Miami, then came back to beat Seattle 28-7. We're off to a 3-1 start, and then came 7 straight losses and an unreal rash of injuries, which led in great measure to those losses. Now, Blackledge from his 44, pumping long. Carson can't get to it at the 5.
One thing about Kansas City,
Out there going for it.
they don't mind throwing it deep, do they? And the thing about Blackledge, he has a very accurate long arm.
He does.
Very accurate.
Throw long. He said that yesterday at practice, that he feels more comfortable going for the long routes because he's got people who can get open long. Tony Lilly, second-year man from Florida, is back now as Jim Arnold punts the ball. Didn't put the rush on. As we mentioned earlier, Broncos did block 2 Jim Arnold punts. Here is a Kansas City half that they'll drop it at the 6-yard line, and that's where they'll be pinned back. Broncos will go on offense, but in a difficult position after a 37-yard punt. So with 12:08 to play, it's still the Chiefs by 3. With Bob Trumpy back at Mile High Stadium in Denver, the Kansas City Chiefs on a first-quarter field goal by Nick Lowry lead the heavily favored Denver Broncos 3-0, a game the Broncos must win to stay in the playoff chase. Now a punt by Arnold has pinned the Broncos in their own end as they go 1st and 10. Sewell tries the right side of the Kansas City defense. Gets it out to about the 11-yard line for a gain of 3.
The Denver Broncos struggling in the first part of this football game, but field position hasn't helped. They started at their own 21, their own 32, their own 20, and this drive starts at their own 8.
John Elway at any time can air it out. He will go deep from deep in his own end, and he's got the flyer out in the left flank. Vance Johnson to go deep. Watson to the near side. Sewell on 2nd and 7 gets to the 13-yard line. Bill Moss jamming things up for Kansas City.
Has certainly made an easy transition from nose tackle to defensive end. Actually, not quite as busy out there at defensive end. When you play nose tackle, you got 2 and 3 people on you. This is a trap Bishop coming. Moss just throws him off. Moss there to disrupt the run a little bit, but it brings up third down at about 4 for Denver.
Clock down to 11 minutes to play in the first half. Chiefs in the lead by 3. Elway swings it out to Sewell. Broncos bring him down at about the 16-yard line.
Not enough.
Short.
Yeah, not enough for a first down. When he juked a little bit there, that cost him the first down. Sometimes as a player, you just got to put your head down and take your chances. But Blanton and Deron Cherry there to make the tackle on an attempted screen for very little gain.
Norman comes out to punt again now. Steve Sewell, who caught that pass, was called, Dan Reeves called him the best back he'd ever seen coming out of the backfield that was eligible in the draft. That time he comes up short, swinging out. It's 4th and 1. Back to return the punt is Garcia Lane. Very mild December day. They had rough weather all week in the Mile High City, but today it's in the 40s. Clear and sunny. Ball hit downfield by Norman. Lane will bring it back from his 40. And again, Kansas City starts out on offense in good field position with 9:51 to play in the first half. Blackledge comes out a 44-yard punt and 11-yard return. Oxygen a little thin up here, Mile High. They tried to start a wave here, Trump. It didn't happen.
A few minutes ago, I could have mistaken this place for the Denver Public Library. Somebody went shh, and everybody listened.
Stands, usually the most boisterous in the National Football League, are among them. Very enthusiastic fans, very quiet today, waiting for the Broncos to show something. Underdog Kansas City has a 3-0 lead in the second quarter. Herman Hurd on a first down run takes it to the 46-yard line where Andre Townsend knocked him down.
There are a lot of teams that when they come into Denver or went to Seattle, they have begun to employ what's called a silent snap count. And the silent snap count is that the center just snaps it when it appears everybody is ready. Normally the team goes from an up position. The quarterback goes with his hand set to take the ball whenever the center's ready, and there is no rhythmic count or anything. The Kansas City Chiefs felt they'd have to employ that today. They could whisper the signals and get the message across.
Quarterbacks having no problems hearing their signals heard today, though. Been quiet at the Mile High City as Pruitt runs the ball hard and takes it down close to the 40-yard line. Second down and 7 run. Going to bring up third down at about 3. Big Carl Mecklenburg, 77.
All over the place. At times it looks like there's more than one 77 out there. And watch him. He doesn't take a false step. He knows right where that play is going. Takes on the pulling guard of the Kansas City Chiefs, Bob Olderman. Right there to assist on the tackle. Mecklenburg comes out. Barney Chavis now goes in as the Denver Broncos appear to be going with their goal line defense on this 3rd and short.
Kansas City has been controlling the ball in the clock. 8:30 to play in the first half, and the Chiefs still holding that first quarter lead that they built up on the Nick Lowry field goal, 3-0. Arnold's going deep. Throw, it's overextended as they're going for the ball was Herman Hurd. Lowry, the tight end, running a fly. Blackledge went to the shorter pattern. The Chicago Bears back on track. Today they beat the Jets 19-6 at Giant Stadium in New Jersey. The playoff picture changes a bit as the Jets go to 10-5 and the pressure builds for a very big game they'll play next Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. Still very much in the hunt to win the AFC Central.
Cleveland and Cincinnati, of course, one of those teams guaranteed a spot in the playoffs because they'll win the division.
Jim Arnold hits the punt downfield, and again it takes the Kansas City hop, and they'll down it inside at the 15-yard line.
Boy, oh boy. Nothing's going right for Denver here. Bad field position. Ball is bouncing Kansas City's way.
Back at the Mile High Stadium, we remind you there are some great games coming up tomorrow on NBC Sports. The Seahawks go against the Raiders at Los Angeles, and a big game with your old team, Bob Trumpy. The Bengals looking good. Go to Washington. Not an easy place to win.
Playing very well. It's difficult for the Denver Broncos to play right now. Bad field position.
Quick out goes to Sampson, but not much happened. They got ahead for some. Now they're going to spot the ball. It's a pretty good gain, actually, out across it to the 22-yard line as the clock ticks down to 7:52 to play.
To this point, a big factor in this football game. From your own 19-yard line, you can only use about 10% of your offense. And with the way Arnold has been punting and the bounces he's gotten, Denver's facing 1st and 85 every time they take the field.
Sampson in now as one wide receiver, replacing Vance Johnson. Watson's in, hasn't caught a ball yet. You recall the one they threw him in the end zone was intercepted, stopping a long Denver drive. Kansas City still leads the game 3-0 with 7:20 to play in the first half. At halftime, we'll be going to NFL 85 among the guests. Middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears, Mike Singletary, the hub of that defense.
Samurai, they call him in Chicago. I have a suggestion for Mile High Stadium. I think if they put up the Chicago Bear New York Jets score, it might help just to get the people out of their seats here and help this team as best they possibly can. There's Dan Reeves.
Albert Lewis starting corner for Kansas City is out with having his neck checked. Blitz is picked up. Now Elway on the run. Miles trying to run him down. He cannot. And Elway heads for the 12th man and gets out of bounds. Big Bill Miles flushed him. First down run by John Elway gets some, not much.
You can see Mott's at the bottom of the screen. Normally a nose tackle, but has made a very nice adjustment. He's on Ken Lanier. Look at that arm strength. And then the foot race. Elway's going to win this one, but Moss doesn't give up until Elway gets to the sideline. Lloyd Burris finally runs him out after a 4-yard gain.
Albert Lewis out at least temporarily with a bruised left shoulder, we're told, with 6:38 to play in the first half. Broncos trailing the underdog Chiefs 3-0. Struck by Elway, gets Big James right out to the 34-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and about a yard. Inside backers Radisick and Blanton were on the stop for Kansas City.
Denver Broncos more than happy right now to go with a sustaining drive, going with the short stuff. Just the Chiefs running an awful lot of zone coverage. His receivers got to find the dead spots. Elway took a shot in the chest there. It looked like he was grasping for some air. I still can't believe how quiet it is here.
John Elway is going to set a single-season Denver passing record, but the Broncos have not had a receiver with a 100-yard game this year. Marker goes down as Sewell runs for first down yardage, but we'll see who the call goes against. 2 markers down, stopping the clock with 5:48 to play in the first half.
That's the first flag on either team that we've had so far in this game. And I believe it's going against Denver. Oh, it's going against Kansas City. It'll be a first down.
Looks like Duron Cherry was shaken up.
Number 50 on the defense. First down.
That kind of surprised me. It looked like James Wright moved early too. Duron Cherry getting up limping. They need him. One of their toughest tacklers in that defensive backfield.
Free agent from Rutgers, who's been a Pro Bowl starter. Mark Robinson comes in the game now, replacing Duron Cherry, going out with an apparent ankle. He's walking it off, though. John Elway has passed Craig Morton. Frank Lapuka from the early years of the Broncos when the stripes on the socks were vertical and they were burned one day at midfield.
Good.
Cheers to the fans.
Good. John Elway has been highly criticized here in Denver for his performance this season, but this is a record-breaking offense for the 1985 Denver Broncos. John Elway a big part of that.
Elway comes in with 20 touchdown passes, 18, now 19 interceptions after the one that was picked up on that earlier drive. Steve Sewell on 1st and 10 lets it go long, a poorly thrown ball, and nobody can get it. Better let Elway throw him from now on.
Yeah, intended for Clint Sampson. I'm sure Steve Sewell threw the ball a lot better in practice. Here's Mark Robinson. He's the man in coverage, but
like he was lobbing a grenade.
Yeah, Clint Sampson already had built up too much speed to come back for it. Well, they'll say it worked good in practice. It didn't work so well in the game.
Denver got help from the Chicago Bears today with their victory over the New York Jets 19-6, but the Broncos haven't done too much to help themselves, at least so far. Trailing underdog Kansas City 3-0 in the second quarter. 5:18 to play in the half. John Elway sees something he doesn't like in the defense, so he goes over for some counsel, and we take this ball. Their opposition by a decisive margin in the first half, and today they've outscored nobody. Chiefs lead the game 3-0 in the third quarters, where Denver's had real problems. They've not scored a point in the third quarter in the last 7 games. Kansas City holding to a 3-0 lead as Elway takes the deep drop, and Sewell has blockers in front. Steve Sewell taken down in an open field tackle. He'd have gone a long way. Kevin Ross, a rising star at cornerback, got him. It was a 15-yard gain, though, and a first down for Denver.
Don, you can see Dan Reeves is trying desperately to shake his team out here. A middle screen, not a play that's run a lot by any team, but he's trying anything he possibly can to put some spark in this offense, just get his team off the ground.
Good second look from the end zone. Our producer today for NBC Sports is George Finkel. Our director, John Gonzalez. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. 4:38 as you see to play in the first half. Kansas City on defense leading 3-0. Elway throwing hard again, and Watson can't hold on at the 30. Lloyd Burris almost had a play on the ball.
That ball was overthrown.
We pause 5 seconds for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Don, one of the things I'll tell you about being a receiver for John Elway, as a receiver, because he throws it so hard, you must see the ball leave his hands. That time Watson had no chance to see the ball leave his hands, and it gets there so quickly you can't adjust.
Butch Johnson, who hasn't been in yet, calls it catching blurs when Elway drills it as hard as he can. Might have to hear. Deep drop. Long out, and Watson has his first reception, and he gets a first down for Denver, down to the 31-yard line. 15-yard gain, so the Broncos drive out on the Elway throw.
Greg Hill in coverage, and you can see that when Elway has time and the receiver can also see the ball released from the quarterback's hands, it is very easy to catch a John Elway pass. Some you have to stop, no question about it. But on this one, he looks down the middle, and look, Hill's not that far off. That's not bad coverage. Elway's still able to get it there in time for a big 15-yard pickup and a first down.
54th catch of the year for Steve Watson. But 4 for touchdowns. They went to him once in the end zone today, and it was intercepted to stop a Denver drive. It still gets into open field. Big back from Oklahoma takes it down to the 21-yard line. A first down carry appears to be just about enough for a first down.
And again, Deron Cherry on the tackle. The offensive line of the Denver Broncos now doing a good job. They're influencing a certain degree here. You see offensive tackle Howard just drawing Bill Moss back. Some people call that a collapsed dive. Yeah, a lot of times defensive linemen are blind when they rush into the guy. All they do is fight pressure. Howard set him up.
Second down and less than a yard now for Denver. Broncos trailing 3-0 as Sewell breaks it down to the 15-yard line. Running that stand-up style, and then he goes down like he tripped down something. He's getting caught with low tackles. Pete Koch got him that time.
One thing about Steve Sewell, though, he does get to the line of scrimmage in a flat hurry, doesn't he?
Big and rangy, very fast. 6'3", 210. John Makovic's Chiefs, winners of 2 of their last 3. The Chiefs out of the playoffs again this season. Open for an upset as Sewell is cut down on a first down carry. There was a loss of about 2 yards on the play. Shooting the gap to get him was outside linebacker Ken Jolly, 52.
Now, this is certainly a must situation for the Denver Broncos. That's Gary Kubiak to the left of Dan Reeves. He motions a 2-minute warning. John Elway will come to the sideline for counsel.
Chiefs haven't been to the playoffs since 1971.
Hank Stram was the coach then. They were still playing in the old Arrowhead Stadium.
The old Metropolitan.
Is that what it's called?
Sir, as Elway comes over for some advice, we take a break. 2 minutes to play in the first half at Denver, Colorado. The underdog Chiefs leading Denver 3-0 in a game the Broncos must win to stay in playoff contention. Denver now with another deep drive. They had one earlier that ended in an interception in the end zone. The bought a long time here. The last time they drove the 13th play, though, was the one that was intercepted. 3-0 Chiefs. Elway on 2nd and 12. Throws underneath the zone. Watson gets it. He's down to about the 12-yard line. His forward progress. Gain of 5 on the play. Blanton and Daniels, 2 linebackers, knocked him back.
Surprising, though, Don, that the play appears to be designed to only go 4 or 5 yards deep. It's a delay underneath. No one was fooled. Calvin Daniels right there to assist on the tackle along with Blanton. Now brings up 3rd down and about 6 yards for the Denver Broncos.
John Elway, career trump, has not done well versus Kansas City. In 4 career games, he has only 1 touchdown pass and has thrown 7 interceptions. He has 1 today. So in 5 games, 1 touchdown pass and 8 interceptions. Here's a blitz. He gets it away. He's got his man. Touchdown, Denver. Vance Johnson sprints off the flank and just beats the coverage with flat-out speed. And the Broncos, with 1:14 to play in the first half, take a 6-3 lead on an 11-yard scoring play.
Elway did an outstanding job there, John. Stood at the line of scrimmage, had plenty of time to read what Kansas City was doing, read the blitz. You can see the safeties coming. He doesn't see it completed. Johnson runs a good pattern. 31 was the man in coverage. Kevin Ross right on the money. Denver finally on the board.
Gary Kubiak to hold. Rich Carlos to try to point after. He's missed 3 this season, but not that one. So the Broncos, with an impressive 13-play, 85-yard drive, take the lead 7-3. As the penalty marker down, we'll wait to see what referee Red Cashin has to say.
Offside. Number 23 on the defense. Point count. 5 yards on the kickoff.
So the extra point goes, and the Broncos will kick it off when we come back. Halftime, we go to NFL 85. Mike Singletary, the Chicago Bear middle linebacker, will be among the guests. Some very big games coming up on NBC Sports tomorrow. The Bengals back in the hunt after losing their first 5, go to Washington. Most of you, as the doubleheader game, will see the Seattle Seahawks rising again, going against the hot Raiders at Los Angeles. Here, the Broncos must win, and they've taken the lead late in the first half. 1:14 to play in the half, and the Broncos had the lead for the first time, 7-3. John Elway's 21st touchdown pass of the season, 11 yards out to Vance Johnson. Blackledge working quickly from the shotgun, swings it to Hurd. Open field hit is put on by Hardman. A penalty marker goes down in the Denver secondary.
Nice play. Well done by Mike Harden. Reuben Carter, also the nose tackle. Illegal man downfield. Always a problem you at times have on a screen pass. But this one will come back. That was well done. Denver now going with the prevent defense. They're running a 3-deep zone. They'll give Kansas City anything.
Number 77 of the offense was illegally downfield. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Rich Baldinger called for the infraction with 1:04 to play in the first half. It's now turning into a clear, cold day in Denver. The heat is on. Dan Reeves and his Broncos, though, despite a 9-5 record coming in, they have to win today, or they'll be home by the house for the playoffs. Broncos have to beat this Kansas City team that did not come here to lose, despite the fact they'll not be in the playoffs. Denver leading 7-3 with just over a minute to play in the first half. The give to Ethan Horton, #1 draft choice of the Chiefs. He gets out close to the 25-yard line, a gain of 6 on the play.
Denver takes a timeout. They're hoping to get the ball back with some time on the clock.
The day starts with NFL 85 and then into some very big games, including the Bengals and the Redskins at Washington. Tony Viteri from the NFL office here, a longtime official. Only Trumpy thinks the Bengals are one of the best-looking teams in the league right now.
Offense, they can score on anybody. It's just a matter of how the defense plays this week. Bengals generally play against good, tough, hard-nosed football teams like the Washington Redskins. They beat up on the Dallas Cowboys. I guarantee you, they're flying high right now.
Some guys would like to beat up on each other.
Yeah.
Seattle and the Raiders. Gary Fensick, the veteran free safety for the Chicago Bears, will be the guest on NFL 85 tomorrow. Dan Reeves takes a look out. His team started slowly, but now they've come to the front 7-3 with 57 seconds to play in the first half. Todd Blackledge, out of that quarterback class of '83, getting his 4th consecutive start and doing well for the most part.
Now the Denver Broncos have to change their defense. They got 3rd and 5 here. They can't go with the prevent. They got to try to force the thing. Kansas City just 1 of 5 in 3rd down conversions. And if they can at least get an incompletion here, they're going to get the ball with some time left on the clock. Yeah, they have changed their defense.
Herman Hurd trying to turn the corner. Broncos there again. Hyden 31 was the first man up. Joe Talia wants his defense to call timeout now with 49 seconds to play in the half.
Now remember, the last time these two teams met, Arnold had 2 punts blocked. Robbins got both of them. The only 2 punts Arnold has ever had blocked in his career. Certainly a good time to go after it here.
And a good time to remind you that this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Denver Broncos and the National Football League is prohibited.
Randy Robbins was the guy who got Arnold the last time in Kansas City.
Got him twice.
Got him twice. And even if you don't block the punt, at least if you bother him a little bit, you hope for a shank or you hope for one that's short, and that certainly is going to help your offense.
It was a different game the first time they met on October 27th. The Broncos built up a 24-0 lead. And Arnold, with almost 300 career punts, had 2 blocked by that man, 48, Randy Robbins, in the game. Only 2 that have ever been blocked. Ball is powered downfield. Johnson is going to be cut down right at the 20 on a very fine special teams play. Mark Robinson came down, 55-yard punt and just a 1-yard return. So the Broncos get it back with not much time and a long way to go. 38 seconds to go in the first half.
An interesting choice there by the Denver Broncos, not to even fluster Jim Arnold at all. Just let him stand back there and bang out a 56-yard, officially, and a 56-yard punt. I'd have gone after that one, I think.
See what Elway can get done now in 38 seconds. He can make it happen fast. John Elway coming in with a 70 quarterback rating. Rates near the middle of the American Conference quarterbacks. But when you total up wins, John Elway's been a big winner. Mentioned 21 of his last 28 starts for Denver have ended in Denver victories. Put it right up from the shotgun to start this series.
Blitz.
Picked up. Elway goes, and it's a drop ball. Coming out of the backfield was Sammy Winder, but he tried to turn upfield before he got it. So with 32 seconds left to go in the half, it's 2nd down and 10.
Absolutely wide open he was, too. That was a well-orchestrated play. Winder out of the backfield just cleared everybody. The receivers cleared everybody out. Winder open underneath.
Elway likes to run and shoot. He'll take off out of that shotgun formation and throw from a sprint out. 4 wide receivers in the game. Steve Sewell aligned as a wingback. He's going deep. Elway throws it, skips off. Sewell's hands at the 25. So it'll be 3rd down and 10 for Denver with just 28 seconds to play in the half.
I'm telling you, this is no fun to be in a position like this as a player. Just swimming against the current, playing like your feet are in mud. Elway now 10 of 16, a touchdown and an interception, 85 yards total in the first half. And you don't know what's wrong as a player. You're out there, you're trying to give it your level best, but you're just not getting it done.
See what they can get done here now as Elway again sends that spread formation out. 3rd down and 10 for Denver. Sewell takes it. Stick him at the 27-yard line. He's well short of the first down. Clock ticking down, and now Kansas City finally calls a timeout as they'll get the ball on a punt after just a 6-yard run. Chiefs could have some time to get in field goal range.
And now we'll see if the Chiefs will choose to at least put pressure on Chris Norman.
"17 seconds to go in the half. The American Conference West Rated as, if not the toughest, certainly one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. The Raiders atop with a 10-4 record. Denver at 9-5. Seattle with an 8-6 mark. Seattle's been 2-2-2 all year. 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 wins.
On and on and on. Interesting that you mentioned maybe the toughest conference or division. There are only 2 divisions in the NFL who have winning records outside their division, the NFC East and the AFC West. And the AFC West has the best winning percentage in 1985 against non-division opponents. And the Chiefs are going to try to block this punt, Don.
Got 10 men up. Garcia Lane, the lone man back for Kansas City. 17 seconds to play in the first half. They're going, but they didn't get near it. Garcia Lane will run it back, though. Robbins misses him. And they get it out to the 41-yard line with 7 seconds left. 37-yard punt, a 5-yard return, but the big number there, the 8 seconds left in the half. Try one play, maybe a long out, and try to get it in range for long-range bomber Nick Lowry. He can hit it deep.
Sure can. One of the most accurate kickers long range that the NFL has ever had. This will make the Denver Broncos now play the defense pretty honest. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defensive backs, 2 linebackers, and 3 defensive linemen on the rush.
Todd Blackledge stands back in the shotgun at his 35. Looking long. He can fire on the run. He does. Gets a strike, and Anthony Hancock in his wisdom runs it to the middle of the field and runs out the clock.
Not very smart.
So that'll do it for the first half. Dan Reeves and the Broncos go off. Coach Reeves not overly thrilled by the first half happenings, but it is a 7-3 advantage. NFL 85 is coming up as Denver leading Kansas straight year. See what the Chiefs can get going in the second half. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. So far, though, the Denver Broncos have had 2 good drives. They scored on one, Trump, and then, of course, the Chiefs took away what looked like a touchdown with an interception.
John, you're absolutely right. It was an excellent drive, too. 13 plays, 85 yards, and on a little slant by Dennis Watson, you can see Greg Hill just time it right in front of Steve Watson. The only interception, actually the only turnover of the day by either team. So 7-3. The Denver Broncos do get the ball to start the second half, and I would imagine Dan Reeves had a lot to say to his football team at halftime. They've shown no life whatsoever in this first half.
Denver coming in, having been outscored 102-39 in the third quarter, but the big story is the Broncos have not scored a point in the third quarter in their last 7 games. They've not scored a touchdown in the third quarter in their last 9 games. Denver holding to a 7-3 lead. So the Kansas City Chiefs will kick it off. Back deep for Denver is Daniel Hunter, and also back with them is Vance Johnson. That's the man they'd like to bring the ball back to your left, number 82. Nick Lowry moves into the ball and hits it. Here comes Johnson. Lowry. Big open field play made by Kansas City. Coming down to make the play for the Chiefs was Mark Robinson, who made a couple in the first half also.
See the numbers there. The only turnover, the Denver Broncos interception at the end of that drive. Broncos had the ball for the vast majority of the first half, but Denver did not have a penalty. Kansas City did not have a turnover. And Denver's fighting the game that they have to win. Chicago beats the Jets. That's exactly what they wanted to happen. Now they got to play an excellent second half.
Denver needs to win its final 2 games, as you may be aware, and needs one of 4 other teams to lose its last 2 to get in. So the winder at the 20. They're going to rule it a catch. Gain of 4 yards on the play.
No, there's no catch whatsoever. Field position in big games like this, even when you're struggling, fighting the psychology of the loss last week to the Los Angeles Raiders, any little thing is multiplied 1,000 times. And for the Broncos today, they've not had good field position. This time they start at their own 16. Doesn't get any better. Watch once again. Was it trapped? Looked like it bounced on the ground. Excellent call by the officials. 2nd and 10.
1/2. So now the Broncos go 2nd down and 10 from their 16-yard line. Sammy Winder. Good cutback move, and he gets to the 20. That'll bring up 3rd down and about 6 as Eric Holly, the middle guard, 93, made the stop for Kansas City. There was a 5-yard gain on the play.
First half for Denver, they were just 1 of 6 in 3rd down conversions. Really not good numbers.
Watson coming wide to the right now for the Denver Broncos. They set up with 4 wide receivers on 3rd down and 6.
Kansas City showing blitz here, Don. Nope.
Big defensive play by Duron Cherry. A perfect strike thrown to Watson, and Duron Cherry recovered to slap it down.
3 plays and out for Denver. A simple in pattern run by Watson. Greg Hill starts the coverage. Lets him go outside. This is that double rotation zone. Corners up, safeties out. Ron Cherry's got one assignment. Make sure the guy that comes in his area doesn't catch it, and he does it with a good hand slap to get the ball away.
So Chris Norman's on the field to punt again with 13:58 to play in the 3rd quarter. Garcia Lane ready to run it back now for Kansas City. Last time these two teams met in late October at Arrowhead Stadium, Broncos dominated, led 24-0, went on to win 30-10. Right now they're holding to just a 7-3 lead, and the Chiefs should get good field position here to start the 3rd quarter. Garcia Lane fields the ball at his 48-yard line, and so the Chiefs offense comes out. Just a 32-yard punt by Norman.
Todd Blackledge in the first half was 6 of 10. The Kansas City Chiefs rushed for 54 yards. They too had big problems converting 3rd downs. They were also 1 of 6.
Todd Blackledge not only grew to be football size, but he grew up in a football environment. His dad's one of the assistant coaches with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now he directs his team 1st and 10 from the Chiefs 47. Good throw. Open is Stephon Page. Trying to move out on Harden. Harden gets him down at the 18-yard line. But Blackledge throws a strike over the middle, and now the Chiefs are challenging.
35-yard reception. They catch him in the blitz. Mecklenburg goes. He's picked up. Page really doesn't run a pattern, Don. All he does is go straight down the field. Watch. One little juke at Dennis Smith. Finds the seam underneath Foley, and then with great speed, Harden has to make the saving tackle.
Throws him with the stutter step. It's a 35-yard gain for Kansas City. Chiefs trail early in the 3rd quarter, 7-3. Pruitt, who's not carried in some time, gets ahead down inside the 15-yard line. Big back from Purdue gets 5.
Well, whatever was stated at halftime by the Denver Broncos coaching staff, it's taken a while for players to have it sink in. They did not look good in 3 plays and out on offense. Dan Reeves showing a little. He's upset. And I think he's upset at his team, not at the officials.
They lose and they're out. Doesn't matter what anybody else does. Denver's finished with another loss.
He's mad at his team. He's yelling right for the Denver Broncos cover.
Blackledge on 2nd down. Big strong arm QB off the run. Broncos had it well covered. He was going on the play to one of his tight ends, Jonathan Hayes, number 85.
Now, when you notice the Denver Broncos, they look stiff. I mean, coming out in this 3rd quarter, they don't look to be very fluid and running it and warmed up from going in at halftime. Defensive linemen are not really running around. You can tell when they take those short, choppy steps that they're not really warmed up to play the 2nd half.
Anthony Hancock moves out on the right flank. On 3rd down and 4 from inside the 15-yard line of Denver, Blackledge ready to shoot from the shotgun. Rulon Jones got to him first, and then he swept under. Coming up to get him was Andre Townsend. Jones was the guy that forced the sack. He'll get half a sack.
second sack of the day for the Denver Broncos from behind the shotgun. Good pressure all over the place. Rulon Jones makes him step up. Townsend right there to receive the gift. That's a big sack.
Now Nick Lowry ready to try a field goal, which if he hits it, will bring the Chiefs back to it in one. 41-yard field goal. He's hit the last 9 field goals he's tried this season. He's hit 22 of 25 for the year, and he's perfect again. Nick Lowry, who at first didn't succeed but tried again and again, and he's maybe the best there is. With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui at Sold Out Mile High Stadium, Denver, Colorado, as Nick Lowry just hit a 41-yard field goal for Kansas City. Now Nick is ready to let her rip again on the kickoff. The Chiefs back to within 1. Denver Broncos back under heavy pressure in a game they must win to stay in the playoff chase. Lowry hits a high spinner. Vance Johnson will take it at his 2. He breaks the crust. That's the deal. He's going the distance. Kevin Rostow came down to make the hit on special teams coverage for KC.
And I noticed as the Denver Bronco kickoff return team assembled at the sideline, Dan Reeves walked right in the middle of them, shaking his fist, yelling, screaming, and hollering, trying to light any fire underneath this football team that he possibly can.
In the first half, the Broncos had 2 sustained drives, with Elway hitting some big throws. The first on the 13th play ended with an interception in the end zone by Kansas City. Later, Elway took him down on the 13th play. He threw a scoring pass to Vance Johnson. 7-6 now is the score at Denver. Running hard. Trying to get some is Sammy Winder, who's out to the 32-yard line. That's just 2 yards against the Kansas City defense that really closed down the run altogether last week.
Don, I think once again Denver trying someone else to ignite. That time put Nathan Poole, a recent acquisition, into the ballgame as a lead blocker. He's now replaced by Vance Johnson again.
Denver in the middle of the National Football League in the offensive stats as a team, with 2nd down and 8 coming up. Elway gets time. He's running out. Swings it out. Winder takes a hard hit as penalty markers go down. Winder down at the 35-yard line.
I think we're going to have an illegal man downfield. Yep. I think it's Keith Bishop. One of the plays that the Denver Broncos used in the first half with good success was the screen. That time, Steve Sewell was held up to the point, Winder was held up to the point where he really couldn't get loose. Bishop comes off.
It was Dave Lindstrom, number 71, coming with a big rush from the outside that flushed the QB. Lindstrom in his 8th year from Boston College. They've had tremendous problems their defensive front. When they started the season, they had one of the best in football with Hart Still and Mike Bell at the end. Miles at center.
Still 2nd down.
It was Keith Bishop. He goes to the sideline. Must have gotten the wind knocked out of him.
Good player, Keith Bishop from Baylor, veteran guard for the Denver Broncos. Now at the ball set back to the 21-yard line and the clock running. 10:38 to play in the 3rd quarter. The Broncos go 2nd down and long yardage. 2nd down and 18. Elway with a strike to tight end Clarence Kay. He's ahead for a 1st down and some more. Out to the 45-yard line of Denver. So they get the big hit as John Elway gets time and makes it go.
Clarence Kay's first catch of the ball game. And for the first time, there's some life now in the Denver Bronco fans. Elway with a lot of time. This is a 24-yard reception. Holly almost gets his hand on it. Big catch by Clarence Kay, and a tough guy to bring down. 2 of them, Ross and Radicic, and even Burris, before he finally hits the turf.
In the backfield, Calvin Daniels tries to make a play and cannot. But then the quick follow-up and a knockdown is made inside the 45-yard line for loss.
I'm going to tell you what, the Denver Broncos have had very little luck on 1st down plays today. Very little luck. Most of the day we've looked at 2nd and long, 3rd and long, on just about every offensive set for the Denver Broncos.
Kansas City coming off a strong showing last week out of the playoffs, but Coach John Makovic and his Chiefs would like nothing better than to knock Denver out too. At the moment, Denver's holding to a 1-point third quarter lead, 7-6. Elway, a long yardage play, hits play, and Clarence Kay can't hold on at the 39-yard line.
Gary Spaney on the coverage. That's one that Kay almost had to get in the way of to catch. That was really rifled by John Elway. Spaney, who has been suffering quite a while with a bad hamstring. Good move by Kay. He's open, but that ball just is so quick when it gets there, he can't quite hang on to it. Here's another situation, a 3rd and 13.
8:59 to go in the third quarter. Elway often likes Watson here if he can find him. Looking that way. Goes down the middle. Vance Johnson has the ball taken away. It's intercepted. Coming down with the ball was Sherman Cockcroft. Spectacular play in the secondary. So another young defensive back for the Chiefs makes a big play. You remember Greg Hill's interception in the end zone that stopped a touchdown. Now Cockcroft picks one off for KC.
This is a total zone coverage by the Kansas City Chiefs, and John throws it right where they want him to. See the underneath coverage, and also on top. Mark Robinson, Cockcroft with the interception.
Kansas City Chiefs playing for pride today. They're out of the playoffs, as you know, standing tall in this game with another big defensive play.
Yeah, this is a place that they don't normally play very well. You said at the outset of the ball game that the Chiefs had lost 8 of the last 10. You saw the first down yardage there by the Denver Broncos. That's been the biggest part of their problem. And it appears to me the Denver Broncos are just out here waiting to lose. I mean, they just have no life whatsoever, Don.
Defense has to make something happen now for Denver. Blackledge and the KC offense set to go. Pruitt works hard to get free with 8:45 to play and the clock running in the third quarter. Denver scored at 1:14 to play in the first half to take a 7-3 lead after a first quarter field goal by Nick Lowry gave the Chiefs a 3-0 advantage. Now it's 7-6 Denver.
Jim Ryan that time on the tackle with Carl Mecklenburg. Makovic likes his chances. I mean, 5-9 playing a tough team like Denver. Keep it close, kids, and at the end we'll try to figure out a way to win it.
What he has to do, play hard all game long and see if something doesn't happen at the end. Blackledge, as they pick up a blitz, stands in, the big overhand throw, skips in incomplete. He is a great-looking athlete, Blackledge, 6'4", 225, and he can run.
Yeah. Dennis Smith, the strong safety, he was right in Blackledge's face there. Usyk right in the coverage.
Denver Broncos, as we mentioned to you earlier, had a Thursday meeting. Head coach Dan Reeves exhorting his team not to be down after the overtime loss to the LA Raiders. The team owner Pat Folin also encouraging his team. It takes some help from one of 4 other teams for the Broncos to get in. The Chiefs are giving Denver no help today, though. Ground. Bree Hopper and Blackledge close a completion upfield. Henry Marshall's in for a first down. He's been out with injuries, so Blackledge high on the ball, scoops it up on the third bounce and drills an 11-yard pass for a first down.
Daniel Hunter in coverage. It looked like the center never really got the ball off the ground. That's exactly what happened. He never really got the ball off the ground, but Blackledge, a good athlete, gets it up. Henry Marshall's first catch since coming back from that separated shoulder. Chiefs have nickeled and dimed it, but they've gotten it down the field. That's where it gets ugly right there.
Guys getting worked up now as the game is down to 8:03 to play in the third quarter. Swing pass to Herman Hurd. Moves in up to the 41-yard line. A gain on the play of 8 yards. Reuben Carter made the knockdown. Herman Hurd did well to keep from getting stopped at the line of scrimmage.
That's an excellent catch. Nice little swing pass. I think you could see number 50, Jim Ryan of the Denver Broncos, blitzing. And, of course, when that happens, then you've got a running back who is a hot receiver. There you see Ryan 50. Herman Hurd realizes he's the hot receiver there to make the reception.
Kansas City came into the game last in the National Football League in rushing, but cutting off their best running game, 164 yards. Now they move the ball out to their 44-yard line on the run. A second down and long 2 play, and it's good for a first down. Herman Hurd again, smallest back they've got, but he gets a lot of carries and gets a lot of yards. 7 minutes and 5 seconds to play. Makovic and the Chiefs have to be pleased with what they've seen so far, but they're down by 1.
You can see the Chiefs going into the huddle. They got a little activity. Broncos, when they go into their huddle, you just kind of waltz in there, stand in there, hands on hips, go to their spot at the line of scrimmage. That's basically it.
Speed on either flank now. That's Carlos Carson coming in motion. Going a curve at the secondary as he swings out and goes out downfield, and Blackledge takes it himself out to the 50-yard line. First down carry, good for 6. So it'll be second down and 4, and the Chiefs drive on, trailing 7-6 with 6:25 to play.
Tom Jackson on the tackle. As we've mentioned earlier, Blackledge at 6'4", 225 pounds, can take those hits when you run the ball. Very seldom see him do the hook slide. There's Action Jackson, one of the inspirational leaders of this football team. He's got to do something here in the remainder of this third quarter and into the fourth. Do something.
Action Jackson. He'd play the Raiders every week if he could.
He can play, too.
13th year out of Louisville. Action Jackson needing a big play. The Denver defense needing one now. Kansas City moving the ball well. Here they come again. Another good block, and Herman Hurd is ahead to the 47-yard line. Bring up third and short yardage. Busick, an inside linebacker, made the stop for Denver. Joel Chalier's been the defensive coordinator for a lot of years here in Denver. In fact, he's outlasted 4 head coaches.
Yeah. He's one of the real constants with this football team. And his defense not playing up to their potential today. This is a third down and short yardage situation, and Joe, I believe, knows he's got to stop this Kansas City offense, get the hand back in the hands of the Denver offense. As long as this game goes on and Kansas City can just pick here and pick there, they're in fine shape.
Their offensive line blocking well. See what they go to on third down and 2. Blackledge gets hurt. It's a first down. He fumbled the ball, but out of bounds. He had it for a possession.
No catch.
Now they're ruling it no catch.
He's got to have
a couple steps.
Yeah, he's got to have the ball with the second foot coming down. Once again, Busick 58's the man in coverage. 1, 2. Oh, I think that was a catch and a fumble. They ruled it an incomplete pass. 1, 2. He's got it. But the ball is bounced against Kansas City. Against the Denver Broncos. It is a fumble. It bounces out of bounds. But the officials rule it an incomplete pass.
So it brings up fourth down, and Jim Arnold will punt the ball now for KC. Tony Lilly drops back for the Denver Broncos, standing at his 10-yard line. 5:02 to play in the third quarter. Lilly lets it go in, and it does for a touchback. So the Broncos with 4:52 left to play in the third quarter, and now have not scored in almost 8 third quarters. Dan Reeves and his Broncos under the gun now as the season goes down the stretch. Denver with the ball. Pitch back. No, Elway's going to run and shoot. Gets it to James Wright, but the stick is made right away. Deron Cherry, free agent, gained all-pro honors, came up.
Great hitter for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Recognizes what's going on. You see Radisic and Cherry right there. Bill Moss comes from the defensive end to clean up, just a gain of 2 yards. Once again, Denver Broncos face 2nd and 8.
Denver's problems in recent games have been very basic. They've not been able to run the ball consistently. They've been under 100 yards rushing in 4 of their last 6 games. The Raiders really closed down their run. Hard throw off the hands of Vance Johnson at the 35-yard line. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the end. Mile High Stadium, Denver, Colorado, on a clear and cold December day. Temperature dropping, lights are on. Denver Broncos on their home field where they've won 75% of the time under the regime of Dan Reeves, and they've beaten Kansas City 8 of the last 10 meetings here, holding to just a 1-point lead over the heavily underdog Kansas City Chiefs. Going blitz, here it comes. Penalty marker down, a throw to Vance Johnson. Nobody gets in. Lloyd Burris might. He does. That flag's going to be against Kansas City. Vance Johnson He's run the 40-yard sprint in under 4.3. Couldn't outrun a supercharged Lloyd Burris there. A 48-yard gain, and our penalty markers down. It is against Kansas City, so the play goes.
You can see what Elway does, which is very smart. He's got a long snap count, and Kansas City shows its blitz. And everybody read it.
Number 30 on the defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Mark Robinson was in the neutral zone, but everybody read it correctly. Vance Johnson ran the right pattern. Elway got it to him. A 48-yard pickup. Just what the doctor ordered.
They say chasing Vance Johnson's like chasing the wind, but Lloyd Burris caught the wind that time, and it is a 48-yard gainer. Broncos holding to a 1-point lead, 7-6. Go to the run. Stanley Winder gets stuffed by the middle of the Kansas City defense. Maz, Holly, and Koch.
Denver fans are not appreciative of that call. Dan Reeves trying to win the football game, not look fancy doing it. Struggling. See him just turn around there. I believe he was looking at Vance Johnson saying, "You all right? You all right?"
It'd be a lot better if they get in the end zone.
Really? In the third quarter.
Yep, they've not scored in 7 straight games. This is the 8th in the third quarter. And they scored a touchdown in almost 10 straight third quarters. Intercepted again. They get Elway a third time. That was Albert Lewis from Grambling with his 4th interception in the last 2 games. So now the Mile High crowd comes alive, and it's not a happy report for John Elway.
Eric Holly put good pressure on John Elway. He tried to make the play. Clint Sampson was the intended receiver.
Shootout. The Seattle Seahawks and the LA Raiders from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Start your day with NFL 85 and host Bob Costas as Ahmad Rashad profiles Marcus Allen. The in-studio guest will be a defensive captain from the Bears, Gary Fensick. They went to 14-1 today, beating the Jets 19-6. Steve Sewell gets the call out to the 25-yard line, and that'll do it for the third quarter. So again, Denver fails to score in the third quarter, but still leads by a point.
Tonight.
Denver futile in the third quarter in his last 8 games, and John Elway having a career problem with the Kansas City Chiefs. Career-wise in 5 games, he has 2 touchdown throws and 10 interceptions. 3 today, and the Broncos fail. The Broncos lead by a point, 7-6 as we start the fourth quarter. Steve Sewell sewing his stuff. He's out to the 40, gain of 18 yards and a first down for Denver.
15 yards on the carry. Once again, Deron Cherry. Safety for the Kansas City Chiefs makes the tackle. Good job. Good double team block, but mostly the yards picked up by Sewell. Very quick-footed. Very quick-footed. Now 10 carries, 52 yards.
14:45 to Broncos come out of the huddle. Clarence Kay, a hard blocking tight end from Georgia, goes to the sideline with a bad limp. Going to the big back. Steve Sewell slides ahead on first down, gets out to the 43-yard line. Comparative numbers through 3 quarters of play look as follows.
Pretty even. The only thing that doesn't show is the 3 turnovers by the Denver Broncos.
Story.
That has absolutely been the story. Did I see a stat? In the last 2 games, he's now thrown 6 interceptions. John Elway, 21 and 21 now. Touchdowns to interceptions.
Dead even. Broncos, though, up by a point in a game they have to win. 2nd down and 8. Watson turning back on the defense, gets ahead inside the 40-yard line of Kansas City. Took the cornerback Ross way down and then left him there with a turn-back move.
He has sneaky speed. He's on the outside. 19 yards on the reception. You see, pushes Kevin Ross off. Comes right back. Nice little hole in the zone. Need a lot more of that. Certainly help the Denver Bronco chances in the fourth quarter. Maintain this 1-point lead.
Sampson now in the game set to the left. Watson at the top of your screen.
Fumble.
3 ball it is. And the Broncos got it back at the 38-yard line of Kansas City with 13:35 to play in the game. 7-6 Denver.
Watch, it looks like John Elway puts this ball too high. Yeah. And it also looks like Sewell may have gone on the wrong side. Here, John Elway was surprised that when he turned that way, Sewell was right in his face.
Chiefs have been perfect from a turnover standpoint, and they almost got a fourth from Denver. Go with the 3 interceptions of Elway. John Elway, a high flying out. The ball took off, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 10.
Lewis was right on Watson. I mean, there was no chance unless you throw it through Lewis to make that completion. Out of his range. Has not had a kick this year farther than 50 yards.
If the Broncos can get in position and kick a field goal, it would force Kansas City to go the distance and get in the end zone, something they've not done yet. Field goal would give Denver a 4-point lead. Burris comes down with the ball. Is it an interception? It is. Number 4 as the Chiefs again pick off John Elway.
My goodness. One of the first things quarterbacks learn is don't throw the ball late down the middle. See that exasperated little side
by Burris, though,
by Dan Reeves. Elway basically has nobody to throw to. It's a plus when you roll. You stay away from the rush, but you only have half the field to throw it to. Burris, big interception.
Wasn't projected to be a close game, but it is, and the Kansas City Chiefs could be in position to go ahead if they can drive down the field. Trailing, as you see, Denver 7-6. John Elway victimized by 4 interceptions by the Kansas City defense. Home run ball. Anthony Hancock, one of the fastest people in football. But he can't get to it down at the 10-yard line.
Mike Harden in the coverage. You know that Blackledge can throw it long. He's also very accurate. A little move by Hancock. Harden's got a difficult time catching up to him. He looks stiff there, doesn't he? Harden, he doesn't really appear to be running very smoothly. You know, those interceptions thrown by Elway, they always hurt. But one came in the end zone. One came inside the 20-yard line.
And there were some spectacular plays in some of the
question.
interceptions. An over-the-shoulder catch by Albert Lewis. The most spectacular, a diving interception by strong safety Lloyd Burris. That stopped the sustained Denver drive. Blackledge on 2nd and 10. Here's a problem. They get him. He did well to eat the ball. That is the 3rd sack of the Denver defensive Todd Blackledge. Greg Cragen was in along with Carl Mecklenburg, and Mecklenburg sets a team record for sacks.
Cragen flushed him. Well, Mecklenburg always there as Blackledge is still down on the ground. There, once again, you see Rulon Jones lined up right next to Mecklenburg, so they can't double team him. And once Cragen flushes him, Mecklenburg cleans up.
Jammed his right arm. Stops the clock with 12:38 to play. So Todd Blackledge being attended to. You see his numbers for the day, and perhaps the most important one, he's not been intercepted, while his counterpart John Elway has been picked off 4 times in this game.
There's Bill Kenny warming up on the sideline. He too is somewhat injured, got a bad back. He has a sore elbow. 3 or 4 weeks ago, he just said flatly, I can't play. I'm just too beat up. And he's a tough competitor. That has to take a lot for him to say that. Now, the NFL rules say that if the clock stops because of an injury, that player must go off the field. So at least Bill Kenny will have 1 snap, and we hope Todd Blackledge is all right.
Tough down, though. He comes in on a 3rd and 15. So without warming up, he's got to come in and put it up in all probability.
Blackledge does look all right. If you're John Mackovic, do you throw it or do you just run it into the line of scrimmage? Take no chances with a turnover.
And trailing in the 4th quarter, you throw it. In your own end, down at the 27-yard line. We're all going to find out in a moment. 12:31 to play in the game. Denver holding to a 7-6 lead. Broncos led at halftime 7-3. warmed up earlier in the game. It hasn't in the second half. Long throw. He's got his man, Carlos Carson, for a first down. So a consummate professional play by Bill Kenny, coming off the bench without time to warm up. First throw and a 3rd and 15. Good for 25 yards and a Kansas City first down.
From northern Colorado, he likes playing in this kind of weather. Watch him shake his arm a little bit just before he throws it, Don. Watch right here. See the way he shakes it a little bit? Kind of loosen up his arm, it looked like. That is a strike to Carlos Carson for 25 yards and a big first down. He remains in the game, too.
You were pointing out earlier, Trump, Bill Kenny, when 334 players were drafted in 1978, was the 333rd pick. Second back is Herman Hurd. And he cracks ahead for almost a 10-yard gain. He got over 9 on a first down carry as the Broncos defense has given up some yards now, holding to just a 1-point lead. Kansas City with a very effective long-range kicker ready to come in if need be.
It appears Denver was late getting into the defense that they wanted to deploy. Carl Mecklenburg slipped just as the ball was snapped and Hurd went through there. 9-yard pickup, 2nd and 1 for Kansas City.
Kansas City last in the NFL running the ball, but doing well, pumping it at a tough Denver defense today. Fullback Pruitt gets it. He's got a first down. They're going to spot the ball down to the 38-yard line. It'll be a first down where they mark it.
Well, what can Bill Kenny do when he's warmed up? He comes out there cold and throws a strike to Carlos Carson.
25 yards and 3rd and 15.
There appears to be some life in the Kansas City team now.
Todd Blackledge poked in the eye. Went to the sideline. First down it is for the Kansas City Chiefs. Nick Lowry, who likes pressure, will have some soon if this drive stalls. He's very effective long. That's perhaps his strongest suit. 3 of 5 over 50.
Yeah. He can boom it. There's no question about that.
Temperature taking a drop here in the Mile High City as the sun starts to set. And it could be setting in the Broncos season. Kansas City can score and go on to win this game. The Broncos playoff chances are done. Over. Smith blitzes. Here's a throw. It's incomplete at the 16-yard line. It was heavy contact. Carson thought he was fouled. Fisher right there says no.
Mike Harden was the man who saw the ball coming. The receiver never saw it. I think he got away with one there. Just before that ball got to Carlos Carson, there was a collision, but the receiver was not looking back.
So this is the 6th play of the drive coming up now. Bill Kenny 1 for 2 since he came in. That first throw good for 25. 10 minutes and 12 seconds to play in the game. Denver 7, Kansas City 6. Don Trickey with Bob Trumpy at Mile High Stadium, Denver, Colorado. Ethan Horton runs the ball. Number 1 draft choice from North Carolina. Did not run it well at all as a rookie. Just 139 yards coming into this game for a 3-yard per carry average.
Mecklenburg on the tackle with Robbins on the assist. I'm telling you, that guy is everywhere. Once again, lined up outside Roland Jones. Birkenhoff tries to stop him. Well, he has tremendous hand strength and arm strength. Throws off a lot of blockers just with a forearm shiver. Again, makes the tackle.
Now Bill Kenny will load up that shotgun with about 5 receivers running sprint patterns into the zone defense of Denver. Broncos showing blitz on 3rd and 9. Here it comes. Kenny takes a look. Lost a long ball downfield. It's overthrown for Stephon Page. That brings up 4th down and long from the 37.
I'll tell you what, too. Anthony Hancock was wide open over the middle. And is Nick Lowry going to try one?
We're talking about a long one.
Well, looks like they're going to try.
Jim Arnold, the punter, is his holder. Jim Arnold comes out now. They think the better of it, and he'll punt the ball.
Looks like about 54 yards. That's in his range. Oh, they're going to, excuse me. I'm looking at field goal kickers here.
Arnold hits it downfield. A lot of time left yet. 9:20 to play. Ball hops inside the 5, then goes in for a touchback, so the Broncos get it at their 20. John Elway having his problems with the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Raiders, the team that came in here and knocked Denver on the ropes with an overtime win last week. Now Denver must win. Denver is holding to a 7-6 lead over Kansas City But the Chiefs, without a touchdown today, are driving towards perhaps their first trip to the end zone. Third down and less than a yard for Kansas City at the 8-yard line of the Broncos.
Carson with 6 catches, 94 yards so far today. Began the season with 200-plus yard games. Hadn't had one since.
Denver fans start up. Pruitt's the power back. Arnold in motion. Pruitt, first down. He hits down to the 7-yard line. So the Chiefs get 4 new downs, and they'll go first and goal from the 7-yard line of Kansas City.
Music on the tackle, but Mike Pruitt at close to 235 pounds, a real load to try to stop.
Earlier today, the Broncos, who must win this game, got help from the Chicago Bears. They defeated the New York Jets 19-6 in New Jersey. The Bears, perhaps on their way to New Orleans, are now 14-1 on the year.
That's a big part in the Denver Broncos' failure today. 2.1 yards per first down.
Kansas City scores and gets the extra point. Denver would have to score a touchdown on an extra point to win it. In the end zone, touchdown, Stephon Page. Blackledge in, arcing the ball, and Stephon Page, who caught 2 for scores last week, was uncovered. He was wide open.
Chiefs did an excellent job of running a pick right at the line of scrimmage. Watch Carson 88 on the outside, Page on the inside. That's all they're trying to do is just run a little pick there. Dennis Smith slips Page his 11th career touchdown. 18th career touchdown.
And his 8th of the season. Not since the great Otis Taylor was catching balls at Kansas City. Had that many by a wide receiver in a season.
They have stayed with it, haven't they, these Kansas City Chiefs?
Got to admire the effort of the Chiefs out of it coming in from a playoff standpoint. Very heartening performance, though, as they now conceivably could win their 3rd game in the last 4 tries. But we've seen John Elway have a lot more good games than bad ones. He's going to get another crack at it. Broncos need a touchdown as they now trail 13-7. 6:59 to play. Elway and the Broncos get it back when we... Broncos in this game, a very encouraging development for John Mackovic, the under-fire coach of Kansas City.
After John Elway's 5th interception of the day, count them 5, Kansas City Chiefs go 29 yards for their first touchdown of the day, lead 13-7.
John Mackovic and everybody in Kansas City got the same report on his future. Lamar Hunt, the owner, will review it after the season's over. Here is Vance Johnson breaking it. He's out to the 30-yard line. John Elway and the Broncos now come out on offense trailing 13-7 with 6:49 to play. The playoff picture, the Raiders hooking up with Seattle tomorrow. Doubleheader game on NBC Sports. Miami goes against New England Monday night. The Jets were beaten 19-6 by the Bears today. Denver Broncos have to win. Seattle very much in contention, but needs wins in its last 2 games. Of course, a 500 record could win the AFC Central. Cincinnati and Cleveland tied at the moment at 7-7. Elway, Curry, his confidence shaken by the 5 interceptions, dumps it off to Sewell, who's in open field, and Steve Sewell is ahead for a Bronco first down. But the Broncos get a 13-yard gainer on first down.
Here's the touchdown. Steve Kenny, an excellent, Todd Blackledge, an excellent throw. Page is wide open because Dennis Smith fell down. There's a nice little pick attempted by the Kansas City Chiefs, and they got away with it. 6 points.
Their first touchdown of the day didn't come till the 4th quarter. But with good work of their secondary and 5 interceptions, they've made 13 points, stand now for a 13-7 lead. Draw to Sewell. He'll catch it, he'll run it from scrimmage. Game clock ticking down now to 6 minutes to play. That play gained very little.
That previous play, too, was a screen, a middle screen set up by the Denver Broncos that's had some success. And Reeves right now saying, look, we're going to go with this short. We're not going to try to throw the ball down the field. Just lay it off here and lay it off there. Try to get down for a touchdown.
Watson and Vance Johnson come wide left. Reeves moving in motion to pick up a blitz. Elway throws, and he's got Watson again. He takes his man deep and comes back with the ball for a first down to the 44-yard line. Clock runs, 14-yard gain for the Broncos.
Well, they've had good success with that play. There's really no jeopardy throwing it out there. Watch the move. Once again, Steve Watson, a good cagey veteran receiver. Looks back like the ball's coming to him, and then a little shove. Well,
Game clock running.
Sometimes the receiver gets away with that. Sometimes he doesn't. That time Watson won.
With Kevin Ross deep on that play, KC corners playing way off the Bronco wide receivers. Elway on 1st and 10. They pick up the blitz nicely. Open man is Vance Johnson. He has it down to the 16-yard line. The Broncos hit the big play and are now down 1st and 10 at the Kansas City 16.
Again, Kevin Ross, the man in coverage.
28-yard gain.
This is a nice slant pass. Sewell does a good job of picking up the linebacker. Radisic, look at that, right on the money. And as he makes this catch, almost fumbles it. And he banged up his shoulder. Landed right on his elbow. And you can see him shaking it out on the sideline. That's the first 100-yard receiving day by a Denver receiver in 1985.
The Broncos have to get it in, and they have to hit the extra point. They trail 13-7 with 4 minutes to play. Elway again gets time up the middle to Sewell, and the Chiefs defenders get him down at about the line of scrimmage. Gary Spaney in the game makes the play.
No gain. Once again, the middle screen to Sewell.
Second down and 10 for Denver. Underdog Kansas City in the lead late in the game, 13-7. Elway thrown 5 interceptions. This time he has a hit to Sampson down to the 8-yard line. 7-yard gain, and the Broncos get close.
Ken Jolly on the coverage. Clock continues to run. This is certainly 2-down area for the Denver Broncos. Going for the touchdown, no question about that.
Dan Reeves and the Broncos have to have this game to stay in playoff contention. Have to win their last 2 and hope that either the Raiders, the Jets, the Dolphins, or New England loses its last 2. Hits back, the ball, and Kansas City has it. Calvin Daniels comes up with the ball. A 6th turnover by Denver.
Dan Reeves absolutely beside himself.
That is a tough one for the Broncos.
A simple pitch back by John Elway to Steve Sewell. That's there, catchable, no problem whatsoever. It appeared that Sewell looked upfield. Daniels on the recovery. And the reaction of Dan Reeves. He didn't know it's on the ground. Oh, no.
Like a punch in the gut of Dan Reeves. John Elway had been perfect on that drive. NBC statistician Joe Costanza pointing out he was 5 for 5 throwing the ball for 62 yards, but then a mishandle. And so Kansas City, holding to the 6-point lead, gets it back. 2:30 to go. Bronco defense called on now to get it for Denver. Blackledge goes to Herman Hurd. Hard hits by the Broncos. Woodard comes up, and so does safety Dennis Smith. Timeout is called
by the Denver Broncos with 2:21 to go. Very smart if you can use that 2-minute warning as the last stoppage of the clock before your offense gets the ball. They would at least have time to once again get the ball down the field.
2:21 left to play in the game. Bowl Day 86 coming up January 1, 1986, and there's some great games on NBC Sports. Leads off with the Fiesta Bowl, matching the Michigan Wolverines and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Then the attention shifts to Pasadena and the 72nd Rose Bowl, featuring Chuck Long and the Iowa Hawkeyes. They go against the defending Rose Bowl champion UCLA Bruins. Following the Rose Bowl, it's the primetime battle that will determine the national championship as the unbeaten and #1 ranked Nittany Lions of Penn State take on Big 8 champion Oklahoma live from the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. All coming your way on New Year's Day on NBC Sports. Dan Reeves, in his 5th year as head coach of the Denver Broncos, has seen his team win at Mile High Stadium 75% of the time over that 5-year span. The Chiefs have won here only twice in their last 10 tries. But today, with a coach under fire in John Nakovic, Kansas City playing a big game defensively, forced 6 turnovers. And now they have the ball back, holding to a 6-point lead. Off the hands of Stephon Page. His last throw is a touchdown catch.
That actually did the Denver Broncos a favor because it stops the clock, and all they're interested in right now is enough time for the offense to get back on the board.
That's how it went. Vance Johnson got the Broncos their lead with an 11-yard reception, and then Nick Lowry with a 41-yard field goal got the Chiefs close. Then the throw to Stephon Page, and the Chiefs have the lead they hold now, 13-7, 2:17 to play. Blackledge at quarterback, 13 for 23, 150 yards, 1 touchdown, and he's not been intercepted. Rocky Mountain Thunder now. Foot stamping noise from the stands as Blackledge throws, and he's got Stephon Page out to the 21-yard line, short of a first down. 9-yard gain, but they're short. And with 2:05 and down to the 2-minute warning, Elway and the Broncos will get it back. So the 2-minute warning is given, and the Kansas City Chiefs will punt it when we come back to Mile High. Football with Ted Nathanson. Telecast of today's game has been produced by George Finkel, directed by John Gonzalez. NFL 85 produced by John J. Filippelli, directed by Bucky Gunts, technical directors Ray Figelski and Salvatore Nagita. We now have 2 minutes to go. Kansas City ready to punt the ball. The Chiefs lead the game 13-7. Broncos are coming with everything they've got. In the lineup. They blocked 2 Jim Arnold punts to recall in the first meeting. Having them close today. Coming hard. Arnold hits it up into the arc lights. Vance Johnson will take it at the 41-yard line. A fair catch for the Broncos. And that's where they go from. At their 41. 1:53 to play, and they have to score a touchdown. 38-yard point. Front.
And they bring John Elway back in the ball game. Even with the 5 interceptions and the 6 turnovers by the Denver Broncos, he is their franchise, and they got to stay with it.
Won a lot of games for him, John Elway, and a lot of them in situations just like this. Got him down close to last drive, throwing 5 for 5 completions for 62 yards. But then a mishandled pitch, Steve Sewell lost the ball, and the Chiefs stopped that drive.
Chiefs now with 7 defensive backs, Don.
They're laying way back. There's going to be a lot of stuff underneath for Elway. He stands in, now fires, and he's got a man. Steve Watson still running inside the 35 and the 30, and Watson's down inside the 20-yard line. The prevent defense.
Yeah, what does it prevent?
Prevents it from winning a lot of times.
Watch Watson. 42 yards on the reception. He reads where the linebackers, or in this actual instance, it's defensive back Sherman Cockcroft, 22 with his hand out there, moves ever so slightly. Elway reads him like an open book. They were right on the same page for that one.
Now the ball is down to the 17-yard line of Kansas City. You'll recall it was down closer than this on the Broncos' last drive. They lost it, though, on a 6th turnover. Watson, 5 catches for 97 yards. Vance Johnson's over 100 yards receiving for the Broncos. It's all conversation unless they get it in the end zone. Play whistle dead with 1:41 to go.
Too much time.
Brett Cashin.
Delay the game for the offense to a first down.
To the tough down, 1st and 15, and the Chiefs with less yardage to protect now at their own end. The Chiefs went right out of that prevent defense too. Now they have their standard defensive backfield, and they're just 4 DBs. Well, if the Denver Broncos pull this game out, they almost, to this point, have spit out the bit. It has been a real upstream swim for them all day long.
They're not done yet, the Broncos, as Elway sets in now behind his center with 1:41 to go. Look out, quick step, Vance Johnson. He's down to the 10-yard line and out of bounds to stop the clock with 1:35 to play.
I'm sure when this game is over, if this is a scoring drive, the Denver Broncos will thank the Kansas City Chiefs for going with that prevent. Just a little drag pattern, they call it, run by Johnson, and then that speed gets him upfield. Second down and 2 now is a lot better than second down and 8.
Prevent defense, the world's worst. Kansas City defense holding Denver to 7 points all day, but now with that 42-yard hit to Watson, the Broncos are challenging. They need a touchdown and an extra point. Second down coming up, second down at about 3. Sewell coming up. Buck and hit at the 8-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. It brings up third down. Ken Jolly made the stop.
John Elway for the day, 21 of 36, 294 yards, but 5 interceptions is the big stat.
But he's not done yet. Terry on third down and 2 yards, and the Chiefs think they stopped Denver. Denver would have another down, though, to go for it. We have 1:19 left to play in the game. Kansas City, a big underdog, leading Denver 13-7 in a game the Broncos must win. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy at Mile High Stadium. The lights on as darknesses fall now.
Well, because they're going to measure this, the clock will stop. Give the Denver Broncos a chance to regroup. This Kansas City defense has played very, very well, haven't they?
They stopped him on that play, but there's another down coming up for Denver. So in truth, the whole Broncos season relies on this play. They don't get there, and the Chiefs take over. They can run out the clock. 1:19 to play. If they do, and they take it in, and they kick the extra point, Denver could win the game. Game they have to win. 7-3 Denver at halftime. 7-6 after 3 quarters. Now it's 13-7 Kansas City. Elway. Looks like he's there.
This is going to be very close, Don. Very close.
He's there. Of course, the linesman's spot is there, so the Broncos get 4 new downs, and they'll go first and goal with 1:11 to play.
Watch again how good a job the Kansas City defensive line does getting underneath. And Spaney, Ross, everyone else helps. They didn't even measure it.
Heat is on in very cold Denver, Colorado. John Elway at quarterback. First down and goal for the Broncos from the Kansas City 7. Throwing a strike. Is right in. No, he's out, but he's just short of the goal line with 46 seconds to play.
This is absolutely an amazing set of circumstances. Ron Cherry again on the tackle. Nice little play action fake, but it really doesn't hold anybody, and then a real strike on right. Elway now at 300 yards, but as miserably as the Denver Broncos football team has played today, they're about a foot and a half from winning this football game if the extra point is good.
Kansas City might be better off if they got in a hurry so they can get the ball with some time. Elway does that. He's over the top. Is he in? No sign yet. And no sign to come as the snowballs start to come down.
No touchdown. No touchdown signaled by the officials.
That might serve Denver well, providing they do eventually get it if they can keep the clock running.
Most important play. Rich Carlos has missed 3 extra points. Once again, Spaney, an excellent job of stopping Elway before he gets in the end zone.
Spaney playing hurt, but makes a big stick there. Game clock ticking. 28 seconds to go. Denver has to score. Over the top and into the end zone for a touchdown with 22 seconds to play. So John Elway could be redeemed, sending Sammy Winder over the top. And it's a 13-13 game with 22 seconds to play, and the Broncos ready to try a point after.
Repeat, Rich Carlos has missed 3 extra points this season. Everybody will be holding their breath. No question about that.
8-play drive, 59 yards. The Broncos score on the drive they had to score on. The point is up. It's good. And the Broncos take the lead 14-13 with 22 seconds to play. they can keep the Chiefs from getting the ball downfield and getting in field goal range.
Nathan Poole, the lead blocker. Winder takes off about 2 yards deep. Albert Lewis almost there to stop him, but the Broncos finally in the end zone.
And those last 2 drives, the one came up short on the fumble by Sewell, you remember. But on the last 2 drives, John Elway coming back from the 5 interceptions to complete 8 of 8 for 122 yards.
Isn't that amazing? I'm telling you, this kid is exceptional. And here's Dan Reeves' reaction. Up and over. Yes, sir. Finally.
Now Carlin's ready to kick off. Let's see what he goes with. 22 seconds to play. Denver by 1. Gets it deep. High spinner. Anthony Hancock is cautioned to down the ball in the end zone, so the Chiefs take over at their 20 with just 22 seconds to get in field goal range for Nick Lowry.
Now you use the prevent, Don. Now you use the prevent. Let's see if they do. Chiefs also have all 3 of their timeouts left.
Turned out Elway had a lot of yards today. John Elway with 300 passing yards with 5 interceptions. Nick Lowry getting ready in case he gets a chance. Got to get it way downfield, though, and the Denver DBs playing 20 yards off the line. They'll be backpedaling like center fielders. Long throw, open man, but the ball is lost at the 40-yard line. Carlos Carson coming back at it. It's 2nd down and 10 for Kansas City. No matter what the outcome from, you have to salute the effort of the Chiefs out of the playoff picture. They played the game of their season.
And you also have to salute John Elway on the same day that he throws 5 interceptions. As you rightfully pointed out, in the last 2 drives, he didn't miss one. 8 for 8. When the chips are on the line, put it in that kid's hand. He can get it done.
Started out flat. Bears and the Jets was to be the big game today. This has turned into the thriller, though, at Mile High Stadium. Todd Blackledge, the quarterback, dropping back. Loops it downfield. Intercepted by Denver. Woodard has the ball, and he's cut down at the 17-yard line. The Broncos will win the game they had to win, and the Denver Broncos are still alive in the playoff chase.
First turnover of the day by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Blackledge forced to throw it deep into heavy coverage. The cold wind's blowing in his face. And the Broncos are there. Ken Woodard picking it up.
He's got 3 receivers over there. He's forced to throw the ball. He has no choice whatsoever. He didn't even have a receiver on the other side of the field. Woodard, the big play.
First of the season for Ken Woodard.
They're still alive. They're still alive.
Denver goes to 10-5 with 7 seconds to play. Stephon Page, the intended receiver, went down with an injury on that play. Nearly injured a leg. Todd Blackledge playing a terrific game for Kansas City. Going out to check his wide receiver, Todd Blackledge, putting up 25 passes, completing 14 for 159 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception on the tip ball.
When you read this score and look at the stats and the turnovers by Denver, if you've not watched the game, you'd swear it was snowing a foot deep. But I'm telling you,
it's cold here in the Mile High City.
The Denver Broncos, they've never played a football game, down in my estimation, where they had to work harder for less.
Well, they go home to the fireplace. They lose this one. The Broncos are still in it. John Elway ready to kneel down and pick it off. That's it. The Broncos rally and come back to beat a very game Kansas City team 14-13. In some quarters, the Chiefs, a 2-touchdown underdog, fighting all the way. But Dan Reeves and his Broncos prevail, and they march on, hopefully, in their opinion, toward a bid to the playoffs. Now for Bob Trumpy, this is Don Crickey.